Call this evening's meeting to order. Detective, you want to go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. What was your name again? I'm trying to remember. Carla. Carla, thank you so much. You want to go ahead and call the roll?
Mr. Lindsay? Absent. Mr. Fanoff?
Present.
Mr. Slotnick?
Present.
Ms. Yukna? Absent. Chair Foreman?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Do we need to swear in any witnesses? Is anybody planning to speak?
It's possible if you have
Yes? Okay.
It's
Yeah,
possible.
It's possible. So anybody who's willing to say, just please stand. Who's planning to
Raise
speak?
your right hand. Do you swear and or affirm to tell the truth on your testimony that you will give this evening? Thank you.
You got all that, Carla? Great. Okay, do we have a motion to approve January 13th minutes?
I will make a motion to approve January 13th minutes.
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay. Hearing none. Minutes are approved as stand. So let's go ahead and start this evening with the first case, which is case number 200902, 3031 West Commercial Boulevard, Hometown Studios Hotel. Start us off with the status. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So obviously, this is in reference to case 20-0902, which, as you stated, is 3031 West Commercial, the Hometown Studios Hotel. The owner of the property is DWCLV LLC, and they were mailed legal notice of tonight's meeting on April 7th, 2022. The police-related activities for the last 90 days totaled 43, with 0 being nuisance-related. On April 11th, I visited the property and conducted a property check, and I noted that the property is in compliance with all of the police recommendations. And while I was out on site, I took a couple photos of the property as it appears over the last few days. This would be the front of the property, and as I had noted during the last meeting, the board had some inquiry as to the gates. I took photos of both sets of gates for the entry-exit side. They were functioning. There's a keypad. I also took some photos did a canvas of the rear of the property. Everything seemed neat and orderly, very clean, nobody loitering. The nuisance abatement signs were up, as well as a trespass affidavit sign. So tonight will be the last meeting for this property, as jurisdiction ends tomorrow, April 15th, 2022. And I'll yield, I guess, to the chair if you wanted to do a vote as to whether or not jurisdiction comes out or if it's not needed. So let me know if that needs to be handled or if it's automatic.
No, it's great. It looks great. The gate is great. Is the owner here? You guys are
Yep.
right?
So the manager of the property, Mr. Tariq Khan, as well as the district manager, Rob Hall, are both here. We spoke to them prior to the meeting, and I also provided them with the compliance form and explained to them the process of filing at the county.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys have done a great job.
Very impressive.
Really appreciate, your guys' efforts here. It looks great.
So,
Yeah, do you want to go ahead and motion to,
And jurisdiction.
I guess, end jurisdiction? Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I second the motion.
I think we have to do a roll call when we're ending jurisdiction. Is that right, Carla?
I don't know about that, but I'm more than happy.
Let's do it.
Do it anyway.
Mr. Fanoff?
I vote to end jurisdiction.
Mr. Slotnick?
I concur.
And Chair Foreman?
I concur as well. All right. Thank you guys so much. If you guys want to stay, great, but I don't think you need to stay.
Just in conclusion, I also wanted to thank Mr. Paul and Mr. Khan for their cooperation during the last year and a half that this has been under their board control. And as they know, we exchange numbers. Obviously, I'm taking over for Paul, but they can reach out to us at any time. And they've even committed that even though they're off jurisdiction, they'll still continue to maintain the same standards and contact the police department if anything is needed. So,
Thank you so much.
Gentlemen.
Sure.
thank you.
Thank you so
Well done.
much. Thank you. All right, let's move on to the second case of this evening, which is case number 210802, 2935 North Federal Highway, America's Best. Detective, take it away with the status.
Okay, so the property is America's Best Inns, and is obviously here for a status hearing. The case number is 21-0802. The property is located at 2935 North Federal Highway. The owner of the property is Fairwinds Motel Incorporated. They were mailed legal notice of tonight's meeting on April 7, 2022. And the police-related incidents for the last 90 days totaled 58, with one being nuisance-related. However, the nuisance-related incident occurred on February 21st, 2022, whereby an individual called police because he was upset that hotel management had removed him from the property. The individual ended up having a warrant for his arrest, and upon being taken into custody for that warrant, officers discovered a pipe and methamphetamine on his person, and he was therefore taken into custody. So I just wanted to add that the nuisance-related incident was actually self-initiated by the hotel, performing exactly what the police recommendations were, and then brought resolution to that. The property owner, Mr. Patel, is here tonight. I'd like to advise the board that upon my last inspection, which was on April 11th, I was out. I noted that the property had been painted. I know that was a question that had come up at the last status hearing, and I took a few photos as well. The property appeared to be clean, neat, and orderly. No one was loitering. Obviously, a fresh coat of paint. It looked good. So the property is in compliance at this time, and then I would recommend that a status hearing for the month of May 2022.
Sure. What were the 58 calls? Like, what are the nature of those calls
Yeah, so
in general?
generally speaking, they were wide-ranging, and they ranged anything from police services to trespassing, civil matters, some suspicious incidents. But of those 58 calls, only roughly 8 of them had a report attached to it. I reviewed each and every one of those reports to see if it had any, nuisance relation to it, and they all kind of just seemed like average reports that any property in the city would be experiencing. So I only picked that one out that was actually nuisance related, and reviewed it, and then obviously noted it. But just a kind of a wide ranging, but nothing nuisance related.
Got it.
Right.
All right. I do a motion to continue this just status. Yeah, I think we're good. I don't think we need to vote on that yet. We're good to go. All right. I think that sounds great. Thank you so
Looks
much.
great. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like a whole new place. I know what it looked like before, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, it does look really good. What a coat of paint does, right? All right, let's move on to our final case, our newest case of the evening, which is case number 220401, 301 Southwest 2nd Street, DBA number 00 Chateau. Yeah, just go ahead and start us with the evidentiary hearing.
Sure. So this will be case number 220401, which is 301 Southwest 2 Street, and the property is doing business as 00 Chateau. The property is before the board tonight for an evidentiary hearing. The property itself is actually 301 Southwest 2 Street, but it's two combined lots, 301 and 307. So in case you hear me mention 307, both lots, and as I mentioned, the stats tonight will incorporate both those properties. So the owner of the property is 301 Second Corporation, and the business owner is Diane Magid and her son Eric, who's here and is responsible for the daily operation of the business, and just Eric and Diane, if you don't mind. On April 5th, 2022, Detective Mattiatis and I met with Miss Diane and her son Eric at the property. We discussed that the property would be going before the board and also talked about the police recommendations, to which they stipulated and stated that they were willing to work with the police department. Miss Maggot and her son Eric are in attendance tonight. The facts of the case are as follows. The police-related incidents over the last six months totaled 36 calls for service and 4 nuisance-related incidents, which are as follows. On April 18, 2021, using a confidential informant, $10 of cannabis was purchased from inside the club. On November 18th, 2021, using a confidential informant, another $10 of cannabis was purchased. On December 26, 2021, an aggravated battery occurred where a victim was shot. And on March 4th, 2022, using a confidential informant, $10 of cannabis was purchased. And if the board has any questions on the facts of the case, at this point, I have some photographs, but I can also go into the police recommendations.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead with the recommendations.
So the police recommendations for 301 Southwest 2nd Street or the 00 Chateau is as follows. The owner will maintain a trespass affidavit on file with the police department and post no trespassing signs on the east, west, and south sides of the property within 7 days. Number 2, the owner will ensure that no persons loiter in the parking lot, on the sidewalk, or on all sides of the property. Number 3, the owner will clearly display within 7 days and for the duration of jurisdiction 4 signs measuring 16 by 20, stating that the property is under the jurisdiction of the Nuisance Abatement Board and is being monitored by the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. Placement will be directed by the detective. The owner will install and maintain exterior lighting that will completely illuminate the parking lot and all sides of the property, according to all City of Fort Lauderdale code requirements within 7 days. This lot will be illuminated from dusk to dawn. The owner will maintain the property free of debris and trash. The owner will purchase and maintain in good working order and utilize a quote-unquote metal detector, either fixed or wand style, for use at all entry points for patrons entering the establishment. The device will help deter and prevent patrons of the establishment from entering with weapons and/or firearms. The property owner will ensure that all employees are trained in utilizing the device properly, as well as conducting pat-downs of patrons entering the property. The owner will install an audible and visual alarm at all exit points of the property. This will prevent patrons from entering the location that have not been properly screened by security. Entry and exit during normal business hours will be limited to one access point where identification is checked and metal detectors and pat-downs are concluded. The property owner will purchase and maintain in good working order and utilize an ID scanner for use at all entry points for patrons entering the establishment. The device will help deter and prevent underage consumption of alcohol on the property, and the property owner will ensure that all employees are trained in utilizing the device properly. The property owner will conduct property checks at this location every week to assess the condition of the property and notify FLPD with any concerns. The property owner will contact the investigative detective during each one of these property checks. The investigative costs total a dollar amount of $1,650.81. The owner is assessed 50% of this amount, which equals $825.41, plus investigative expenses of $330, which totals $1,155.41. Payment of the $1,155.41 is due by May 12, 2022. The board will hold the remaining balance of the $825.41 of the investigative costs in abeyance. If any of the listed items are not complied with within the time frame set forth, a fine in the amount of $250 per day per item, not to exceed $250 per day, will be imposed for each day of noncompliance. The owner will appear before the Nuisance Abatement Board at the April 14, 2022 Nuisance Abatement meeting for a status hearing, and all scheduled Nuisance Abatement Board meetings for the duration of the jurisdiction unless notified by the investigative detective. The Nuisance Abatement Board will retain jurisdiction over the property for a period of 1 year from the date of this order. That is the facts of this case and the police recommendations. And before I conclude, I'll just make a note that the owner has already completed some of the recommendations and has taken initial steps to complete the others. And just for the board's information, I can flip through these slides to go back if you want to see pictures
Okay.
or whichever you need.
I have actually two motions to make.
Sure.
One at a time for the record. First, I would like to make a motion to accept the property as a nuisance.
I need to second that one.
My understanding that that's the equivalent of accepting the jurisdiction, so to speak, because it's
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. I would say I would agree. Yeah.
Okay, second.
Second that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we need to do a roll call vote for that one.
Certainly. Mr. Faniff,
Aye.
Mr. Slotnick,
Yes?
Chair Foreman,
Yes.
And then the second motion I have is to accept the recommendations as stated by the detective.
I second that motion.
Yep. I guess we'll do roll call one more time.
okay. Who,
Joel
made the
Slotnick,
motion.
yes.
I
Made the motion. Robert seconded.
thank you.
A lot of choices
Mr.
tonight.
Faniff,
Aye.
Ah.
Mr. Slotnick, sorry.
Yes.
And Mr. Chair Foreman.
Yes.
Now, I do have a couple of questions for
Sure.
you. First, are you open 7 days? What days are you open?
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you can come up, just so we can have it for the record. And it's Derek?
Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
My name, Eric Maggot, with a C.
Okay, so you're open Wednesday?
We open Wednesday, right now, Wednesday through Saturday, and we're due to open some Sundays.
Okay. And my other question is, were these incidents on any one particular night or just between all the nights you're open?
That's an unusual question. I don't know what nights they did the
Okay.
board on the purchase of the guns, but the gunshots normally came on I think it was Saturday night. We did have security that night. It just, one of the security guards let somebody through the back door. Unfortunately. Can't be in all places at once, but.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the recommendations are pretty minimal, just to put up some signage and.
No, trust me, I've been in business in Fort Lauderdale for over 30 years. I want a good name for myself, so
Sure.
that's not my reflection to run this situation. Unfortunately, for my sake, my property is in the entertainment district, so the purchase of the cannabis, you can ask around, and eventually you're going to find somebody that's going to give up a sale. I can't. I'm not a police officer, All I can do is always try to do is maintain my staff from the distance.
Sure.
And try to tell my staff, please make me aware of anything that you see or done. But to the public, and the property does have a parking lot and it does have some hidden spaces. And because of that, at any time, I could be subject to I guess they call a sting. And there's going to be somebody stupid. It's not going to be an affiliation of mine, but it could be just a pedestrian down in the neighborhood that tries to do something quick, and I happen to do it on my property. So,
Sure.
we're well aware of it, and I speak about it all the time. And obviously, that's not a reflection on how I want to run a business.
No, absolutely. Well, we're here to partner with you and, try and help with the whole situation.
Yes,
So
and we've owned the property since 1987.
that's great.
Wow.
So it's
A lot of changes on the property.
I'm just not an owner of the business.
Yeah.
We're the owner of the land too.
That's great.
So obviously we're here to work with you and Paul and Jameson and how to get better and clean up the
Sure.
neighborhood, obviously. One of the first things I did after the gunshot was got rid of my DJ that I felt was influentially bringing that person. I don't want to name that individual
Sure.
by anything other than
Understandable.
person, but that element was due to my DJ and his stream of Facebook and an Instagramming. And, at that point, I knew that night that I didn't want that anymore. I was on site, and it's not a friendly sight to hear yourself bang, bang, bang. So, and I told my manager, subsequently to that, I fired my general manager. And so that I could be there more often. Because, you hire a manager and you want to go home at night and sleep, and he runs the business, and then under his watch, these things happen. Not saying that it's not ultimately my fault, which is an owner who selected this person, but I felt in the nature that it's best that I drive the car, fly the plane.
Sure.
So I've taken the lead and running this property now.
I think that's great. Yeah, I think you're taking the right steps. It sounds like. So looking forward to working with you and partnering with you and getting this,
Yeah,
hopefully helping you to clean up.
Each month we come back and we see 0 calls, but things happen. There's a lot of fights on the street, and then
The nature of him or she.
Second Street all the time, as you know. So there may be some incidental calls that come in because of it, but we've definitely changed our element and our outlook of where we see the future of 00.
Great.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you,
you, guys.
Eric.
Just as an answer to your question, the pattern of the nuisance-related incidents did not occur on the same day. One was on a Thursday, one was on a Friday, and one was a Saturday night into Sunday morning. So there was no recommendation for
Interesting.
a change of schedule.
Sure.
Great.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Appreciate the
If you
effort.
guys, and if you guys want to stay, you can, but I think you're good to go. Thank you guys.
You too.
See you next month. Okay, and the last item on the agenda is just board discussion. If nobody has anything to bring up, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Sure. Go for it.
Make the motion to adjourn.
I will definitely second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Not in favor say nay. Hearing none. That concludes this evening's Nuisance Abatement Board. Looking forward to seeing you all next month. Thank you so much.
Thank you.